All right. So, hello, everybody, and welcome to the three-part series to Creating Your Dreams Come True. How does it get any better than this? And what else is possible? I know that many of you have done, maybe even done all of these pieces with me, or have done bits and pieces of these pieces with me in other ways. Some of you right now are in the business one where we've done kind of a piece of it and are working with questions every day and doing just there's so many different ways to create, and how this all came actually to be was when I was in Bali actually in December, and I opened up a folder from a couple of years ago. I had taken a class and it was called Write a Book in a Weekend, and I did. I wrote my book in a weekend. And then it sat there for years, 2 years, before I opened the folder again. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm in Bali. I've got a couple of weeks. I'll finish this book and get it published and such this year. And what was so interesting to me is when I opened up the folder, there was different pieces in there and documents and stuff, but one was called Entire. Which was the entire book all put together. So I'd kind of wrote it in chunks, and then obviously I had put it together, and I called it Entire, and I went through it and I was like, holy shit, this book wrote itself. I wrote those pieces, don't get me wrong, but I didn't know it was done. Like that does. It's like, wow. And then when I was looking at it, it was like, man, this is what I facilitate every day, all day, in whatever form, whether I'm working with one-on-one people, whether I'm working in a group, whether I'm doing just a radio show, or I'm talking to a group of people somewhere. These are the pieces that I've used consistently since 2002, probably not 2002, that's probably a lie, 2003. I took the very first course in kind of empowerment, which was Reiki, back in 2002. And honestly, prior to that, you guys, I had no clue about, being the creator of my life. Everything just happened to me, and I was a victim. That's how I lived my life. And it wasn't bad. I mean, I didn't have a horrible life by any means, but I had no clue of what I know now. And so in 2002, once I took the class and started playing with some of the tools, and back then it was very metaphysical. I was using, angel cards and different things. And then in 2003, and then in 2005 was the very first time that I offered this. Now it's not this because it changes all the time. Every time I learn something new that works for me, I adjust it. And so 2005, it was create the life your heart desires is what I called it. And just worked with people one-on-one or in groups, and have been doing that pretty much ever since. And so when I was looking at the book and all of that, it's like, yeah, that's really what I'd like to be sharing more, kind of as a whole. So again, I don't know that I've ever done all of these pieces with one person or with a group, but here we are. So this is how it was born. It was very long labor, I would say, because it's been years of all of it kind of piecing together. And it's not, and it's ever changing. And that's the one thing that I love about it, is it's ever changing. This is not the same stuff that I was facilitating in 2005, although some of the pieces will be the same. Yes, Debs, you guys are the pioneers. And then of course now, you guys, I'm pretty sure all of you know that I do, the majority of the work that I do now is based on the tools from Access Consciousness. So that's where a lot of the stuff will come from that we'll talk about in this series. But you'll also notice that some of the wording isn't maybe what isn't access speak, we might call it. Even creating your dreams come true isn't necessarily access speak. And what I was looking at is having this be an invitation for anybody. So people don't have to do access speak to get it, but it also can be an invitation to access. So it's just looking at it from kind of a much bigger picture than keeping it in kind of one space. Because of all of those years that I've been playing with these tools, I have a very, probably like many of you, maybe even all of you, I have a wealth of information that it doesn't have to separate. I don't have to say, you know, angel cards are bad or good or right or wrong. And you really always have to know for you. You really have to find ways that work for you. Even if you have been, saying, using Access for a while, if there's something that worked before that you want to add to it, add it. Don't subtract. You know, always look at adding, and be willing to try new things too. You know, there's so many different ways. So anything that I share is stuff that has worked for me, and it's not about this being the process for every person on the planet. It's not. I'm okay with that. This process is the process that works for me. And even as you probably over the 3 parts, you'll notice that that I will shift and change it. In fact, I specifically put part 3 after the new foundation. So the new foundation, or the global foundation that Gary and Dane are facilitating, ends on, I think, the 11th, and our 3rd time together is on the 12th. Now, maybe there will be nothing that, you know, different for that I would share, who knows, but it just felt really yummy to put it kind of the day after, so that if there was anything that popped up, that we can go through that too, or anything. There's so many different possibilities. So today, you guys might not have seen, but there's a link in the Facebook group, and I'll post it here too. Let me find. And my plan was to put the entire handbook was going to be out today, and as I was adding more things, it was not. There was it just got heavy as I got kind of past what I think we'll cover today. So I've put the steps, like the title of them, but as we go, I guess I will be adding more. Not really sure. I'm just kind of following the energy of what the workbook was asking of me. So I'll keep you posted. It's a little bit bizarre to me, but hey. There we go. So there is the link. You don't need to print it off unless you would like to. It's not, it's probably, I'll even turn the camera so you guys can see what I'm looking at while we go through it. And so, a couple things with this. Let's first cover, because I think the majority of you guys have, and even people that are joining in after, have done some of these pieces with me before. So, so anywhere that you wouldn't be present with what we cover because you've done it before, will you destroy and uncreate all that and return it to sender with consciousness? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And will you destroy and uncreate your relationship with all of your asks, your dreams, your wishes, your targets, your lists, whatever it might be from before, times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because this is a brand new moment. This is a brand new year, a brand new moment. So what you might have had as a desire last week or even this morning, it might change. And if you're not present with it, what can occur is, much like if I wouldn't have been present with the workbook this morning, is I would have been pushing, I would have been forcing, I would have been frustrated, I would have went into the judgment of me because I was pushing and forcing and it wasn't flowing, instead of like, oh, stop, and you go into question. And so you want to look at that too, especially when you're writing down your dreams, is to check in, you know, if there's still a yummy energy there for you as you're looking at them. And of course, we've got questions that we'll do after you look at what you would like, but you do want to pay attention. Be willing to be aggressively present. And what aggressively present means is that you aren't willing to allow anything to take you out of that presence. So even if you were, let's say you're writing your dream about money or something, and then you, as you're writing it, you've got your phone in front of you and there's a text that pops up about somebody asking you for money that you say you owe them for, I don't know, they fixed your car, and so you're writing out your money asks, and all of a sudden this money thing pops up. And then you go into the drama trauma and why do people always want money from you? And you were sure you paid that bill, or there's kind of this stuff that comes up. Being aggressively present means you would look at that, you'd be aware of it, you'd see the text come through, and you'd still be present. So you don't go into the story, you don't go into the crazy, you don't go into the distraction. Or if you do, you stop you. You stop you in that moment, and then you go back to what you were doing. You be willing to be aggressively present. So what energy, space, and consciousness can you in your body be to be the aggressive presence that you truly be? Anything that doesn't allow that to show up as if by magic, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Is that aggressive presence? It can change everything for you in all areas of your life and your living. Whether you're setting dreams, or you're in a conversation with somebody, or you're driving. How many times have we driven somewhere and kind of got there and wondered, how did we just get there? I don't remember any of that. And that's not necessarily wrong. And what about being willing to be the aggressive presence? Yeah. So Deb says, I'm aware of the push energy right now. So what if you just let it go? What if you're aware of it and you drop the barriers to it, or the resistance to it, or the push to it? Like what energy could you be to shift that? Julie says, or this isn't where I was going. I'm not sure I've done that, Julie, but that would be really funny. And maybe I have. Yeah. The other thing too, Debs, with the being aware of the push energy, and it's one of the reasons that I also chose this to be later in the month rather than right at the beginning of the month, is because about now is when people start letting their dreams for the year go. They looked at them at the beginning, maybe they kind of dreamed a little bit, and then by the end of January is usually when people are throwing them out, or not actually willing to take the action, or they're really realizing that they weren't actually something they desired anyway. It just seemed like a good thing to do. So I wonder how aware you are of the push energy of, but I should, and I have to, and this needs to be a certain way, and like all of that crazy. So everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it all. Return to sender with consciousness. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And then just be so aware of that. None of this has to be done. You don't have to do any piece of it. Any of us have to do this. So if it doesn't feel yummy, and it doesn't feel fun, and it doesn't feel like it's creating something for you, just let it go. Whether it's a piece of it or 3 pieces of it or whatever it is, because that's a thing too. And with that, I don't know if you guys saw, I posted a book the other day that I've been listening to. It's called Can't Hurt Me. And it's extreme, I will tell you that. It's not Access, I will tell you that. And I love it. I love the guy in it. It's his kind of biography. And he has this thing, and I actually used the hashtag the other day, discomfort level. And that's what the whole book about is him. And he's pushing himself to be uncomfortable. Because often what we do is we mistake ease and joy and glory for easy and comfortable and almost passive or something like that, where it's like, well, if it doesn't just land on my lap, while I'm sitting here in my house, in my jammies, then I guess it's not for me. So it's something I've been looking at, and you'll probably hear me talk more about in part 2 or 3, maybe both of those. I'm only about 5 hours into the 13-hour audiobook. And I'm really receiving those pieces because it is something. I remember years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, Gary started talking to us about, and Gary's the founder of Access Consciousness. He started talking to us about the willingness to be uncomfortable. And I can remember getting so freaking mad every time he would bring it up. And then every time people would say, oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable. And I would just be like, oh, you know, it's the new fad word of Access. You know, I was always grumpy about it. And I'm so aware listening to this guy's book that there is something there. You know, the comfort level and the willingness. I don't necessarily say push yourself like he pushes him, because it's really extreme. He lost 100 pounds in 3 months to train to be a Navy SEAL. And anyway, it's just extreme. And #discomfort zone is something I just see really being valuable, especially with the dreams that maybe are totally different than the way you've been living. Because we know that if in order to make a change like that, we have to do something different. We have to be and do something different. So if you would like to increase your income by, you know, maybe you want to triple your income this year, chances are you can't do what you did last year to do that. There's going to be more that's required. It might be increasing your prices. That's often uncomfortable for for people. It might be if you're employed, it might be getting another job. So now you're maybe working 2 or 3 jobs. That might not be so comfortable. You know, there's so many pieces to it when you look at it, but it's like those things that are drastically different, or things you'd like to be drastically different than they were in 2018, be willing to be uncomfortable. And one of the words that I would say is the most misunderstood word in Access is ease, because most people go to easy. If we're saying the mantra from Access, which is all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, people automatically assume it means easy. It doesn't. Ease means that it's ease. So you may, you know, I don't always love, I've been working with a personal trainer. It's not always easy what she's asking me to do, and it's ease, which means I'm not adding a point of view to it. I'm not saying this should be different. I'm not whining. I'm not complaining. And it's not all of it's easy. In fact, if it's easy, then she makes it more difficult. So anywhere that you haven't been willing to choose the discomfort, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all 9, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay. So I am gonna share my screen. Any questions or anything before I share my screen, guys? Okay. Stop share. All right, so step 1 of the 9-step process is to get clear on what you would like your life to be like. Now, there's a couple pieces with this. One is, yes, there are things that we would like to be, do, have, create that we don't have words for. So it's not about getting that you have to have words for everything. And I am going to push you to find 2 things in each of these areas. So I've listed kind of the common areas of your life. And I'm going to push you to find 2 things. Now, you don't have to share them. We're not going to do a round circle where everybody shares them, so they can be personal to you. And I am going to really encourage you to find at least 2. If you've got more, that's great. And you don't have to worry about wording right now. Okay, this isn't where we're going to correct the wording. There's a whole other section where we'll turn them into asks. So right now, it's just really being honest with you in terms of what are your dreams or your wishes or your asks, whatever you want to call them, targets, goals, whatever, it doesn't matter. When you look at, say, using the top one, when you look at health, what is it that lights you up? So I'm going to give you some time right now just to go through them. So we've got health, financial, social life, relationships with family, friends. You don't have to fill them all in. There might be an area here that just doesn't fit for you, personal development, career, business, and you might have other areas. Maybe travel is something that you would like to have on there that you don't feel fits in any other spot, or something else. Doesn't matter. I want you to, really all I'm asking you to look at is your entire life. And what are those things that you would like? Yeah, Carrie, go ahead.
I had to find my unmute button again. So I was wondering, for a while have been pondering about like the wording around like wellness, and I haven't found anything that's like super light. Like it's around my body and stuff, and it's not necessarily losing weight, but it's about a feeling that I can sense that I don't really have a word for. And the one thing that plays in my head, because I've read lots of body positivity stuff or whatever, and I'm still like not getting through the whole, I guess it's just clearing the belief around, like if you're lighter, then there are less health issues, right?
Yeah.
So, and like there's some stuff, has gotten way better, but I even thinking about future. And then when you were talking about that travel thing, like that was very light, the wanting to,
Mm-hmm.
So that was super light. I was like, yes, like that is a thing. So I had thought about, okay, I'm going to do keto for a week just to like do something besides what I'm doing, which is eating anything and everything. And then that'll give me time to finish the conscious cleanse, because I haven't finished the book, right? I was like, okay, then at least for now, that's easy. I print the list, eat, whatever, those foods. And I feel like I'm like going, like today, I feel, which I know doesn't make it true, but I feel like I'm like going to the execution.
Well, what I would look at, so, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's just kind of what I'm, as you're talking, is, are you looking to do keto because, or for a result? Like what is it you would like from, whether it's keto or whether it's conscious cleanse or whatever, like what is it you're looking for by doing that?
Well, wellness. And I guess consciously, like the weight loss, because then I keep getting told like I could reduce my meds, I could move with more ease, and I do other things for movement.
So could those be your asks? Like, is reducing your medications and moving with more ease?
Thank you.
Yes. Well, and you're kind of jumping a little bit ahead, but that's okay. Because it's a question that we'll ask once everybody gets their things wrote down. It's one of the questions that we look at, is this a conclusion?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just starting early. So, those guys who are listening, they can look at that for themselves and be like, hey, is this actually, if it feels wonky, or if it, just check in with yourself. Like, are you asking for that from the place of, if I do this, then I can?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then if it is, that's cool. That gives you great information, because then I can, those become your actual asks.
Well, you nailed something earlier. I was kind of chuckling in my head because I had chosen keto only for like easy, because it was so specific. I could follow it this week without having to really think while I finished reading the book, that I like, it resonates with me, but I find it like a lot, and I don't find it the most, like, I feel like I need to get organized for it, right? Whereas the other thing, it's like, just pick up spinach and chicken and eat that all week. So
Well,
no.
and the cool thing with it too is that with an ask of, the reducing medications and moving your body easier, then with those as asks, your body can really guide you with what it would like.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's, if you're coming from the conclusion of, I'm doing keto for a week, your body basically shuts up, and not necessarily shuts up, but might not be as in communion with you until it becomes a 2x4.
Yes. Thank you. This is helping me much later for that area. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, Laura, you can unmute. Maybe.
Oh, hi.
Hi, honey.
Hi. I'm okay. Great. I have the worksheet that you were just showing us. Can you show us that again, the different categories?
Sure. Is it not on your screen?
No, I have a screen with two other ladies, Angela and Cora Lee, are on my screen with you.
Well, at least they're lovely to look at.
No, you ladies look busy at work, and I'm like, oh man, I can't see the worksheet.
I wonder. Can everybody else see the worksheet? Okay, good. So is there kind of a shrinkage button somewhere? There's something,
And I don't have the ability to write comments for some reason. I can mute, start the video, share content, see the participants, or more. That's it.
okay. So Carrie says it's at the top under view options, but it doesn't sound like you even have that.
I don't.
Okay. Julie says look in more. Is there a more?
Let's see.
Are you on your computer or a phone?
Phone.
Phone, okay.
It says minimize meeting, raise hand, hide my video in the gallery, or disconnect the audio is my more options.
Glenise, if she's if she's on her phone, I believe if she wants to, I don't know what it's going to look like on her phone, but if she wants to chat, she has to press on the participants button, and then all the participants will pop up, and at the bottom of that we'll have a chat, and then she can chat from there.
Perfect.
But seeing what you're seeing on your screen, I can't help you there, but that's how you can chat when you're on your
chat one. Okay. Oh, good. Lori's in the chat. Okay.
Great,
so
great.
How the heck can we get that screen? I'm sorry, I don't use my phone with Zoom, so I don't have that information.
I saw it initially as you were. I saw the health thing, and then somehow I'm at a box with you and Angela and Cora Lee. Dang. All right. Well, I will just do my best here.
Oh, Julie says to try swiping. See if you can swipe.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm swiping and I'm seeing all the people now. Oh, and I'm seeing the worksheet now.
Thanks, Julie. Julie saved the day. Okay. Let me do this too. Go here. I'm just also posting them all in the chat, guys, so that you have them all in front of you. And again, these are just kind of a framework. If you've got other areas or some of these just don't resonate for you, you do not have to. So you can unmute Carrie.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I was like, Glenise. And then I was going to write, can you hear me? I'm like, clearly not.
Clearly not.
What's another word for structure or organization or method of doing, but like lighter and like not like conclusion?
Can you give me what you're trying to say?
So in financial, I'd like to like have, one of my goals would be to have like more structure, but also checking in regularly. Like, so say example, like have regular savings, regular 10%, regular into profit account, and where it's ease and joy and light, but still checking in. So
I would use, like, I personally use the word consistent in those cases.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
And if anything came up with the word consistent, would you just destroy and uncreate?
So what came up?
Not so much with money, but like say consistent. So like I don't often sign up for classes like say once a week, because that feels like, ooh, I'm so hemmed in then, even though it might be a benefit. Like example, yoga. So I never say like I love the class Monday mornings at 10:45, but I don't just sign myself in every Monday. I like go or don't go. But if I did sign myself in, then it feels like an obligation.
So everywhere you're not willing to be obligated? Will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everywhere you've decided if you sign in that you have to choose it, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, POC, shorts, boys, beyonds. Because to me, what it sounds like, Carrie, is like it's maybe a word around awareness, like consistently using your awareness based on, you know, going to the yoga or whatever. Or consistently asking questions, or, and it also depends the energy from the, like from that, because you know, I'm going to use myself for example with the money thing. Like back in 2014, when I wasn't willing to be aware of money, I did have to, and I'll use the word force myself to look at the money every day to get into the habit of that. And it's not like, not that force is necessarily what we're looking for. And are you willing to be uncomfortable with creating the habit of whatever it is you're choosing? But not from the place of saying, okay, no, I chose to go to yoga every Monday at 10:45. I've signed in, I have to go. So like you want to have that area of the willingness to be aware, the willingness to follow the awareness, and also the willingness to know when, say, the no, what you might be perceiving as a no, isn't actually a no, but actually just the resistance to creating something different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and if I'm really like aggressively present, the feeling is different.
Yes, yes.
It's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glennies.
Yes.
Hi, Lori again here. So I'm feeling a bit stuck. I'm not, my stuff is not free flowing in my
Okay.
areas.
In none of the areas, Lori?
I feel like I have such big asks in some areas and so much uncertainty. I'm kind of frozen. I don't know where to start.
Okay. So is the frozen yours?
It feels like mine.
Okay.
There's
So
a light.
what? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just felt a lightness
Okay.
when I got aggressively present.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, there's a couple different things. You know, when you said you have such big asks. Now, one, we can acknowledge when something is a big ask, like when it's bigger than we've maybe ever been willing to ask for before, or ever even acknowledge that we desired. Like, yeah, it can be a big ask. But the other way that we can use kind of the energy or the words of big ask is from a judgment. And I wonder if there's a judgment kind of locked into the big asks for you, that if you didn't kind of judge it as a big ask, if you just acknowledge it's a big ask or they are big asks, but not from judging that they're big, and then kind of with the judgment comes this energy of like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so hard and I probably won't know how to do it, and like that sort of an energy. So any judgments that any of you are using with your asks, will you just destroy and uncreate them all, return to sender with consciousness?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Because are they truly big asks for you, Lori, or are they big asks for most people in this reality?
It's a pretty big ask for me.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So are you willing to be the gal who has big asks and receives them?
I am.
Yeah. So anything that doesn't allow that, we destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, POC, shorts, boys, and beyond. So now when you look at them, are you able to have a bit of a flow with them?
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How about you, Miss Betty? Did that shift anything for you? Is there still something there?
I felt a little bit lost.
Oh.
Trying to put like, can you hear me?
You're really low. Can you get closer to the microphone?
Okay, let me see. Now?
Still low.
Okay, and if I talk louder?
Yes, talking louder is perfect.
Okay, so I'm a little bit lost here because I don't know if I'm asking myself if I have to put exactly what I want. For example, in health, I need to do more exercise. So should I put walk every day or walk 3 times a week? I mean, more specific or more general? And I'm going through one and the other one, and I'm losing here.
Okay, so let's go to the exercise one first. So when you say you have to do more exercise, what is that? Something you've decided? Is that something your body's asking more of? Did somebody tell you? Like where's that coming from?
Everywhere.
Okay.
You see, the thing is that lately I've been refusing to do anything, walking, any kind of exercise.
Okay.
Today, I did some processes yesterday, like to stop, I can find the word, when you leave things for later.
Like procrastinate?
Yeah, thank you. So today I woke up and I really wanted to go walking, and I asked my body, and my body was happy with that. And in some point, my legs start hurting me. So I asked my body, can we have more ease with this? If you really want to walk, can we have more ease with this? And it stopped. So it was great. So at last, today, I could do it. And I want to keep that.
Cool. So what is the result from walking when your body would like to walk, or doing the exercise? What is it that you're ultimately asking for with that?
I don't know if it's something more social, that, or maybe a point of view that all the bodies must do exercise because, I am now 48 and blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah.
I should do exercise.
Yeah. So I wonder if the ask could be more around communing with your body.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because and that might result in you doing more exercise than you imagined. But because if you just put in there the exercise, especially the way you were talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really feel like it was something that you actually really desired. But the communion with body, you and your body got excited about that. So I wonder if that's more of a dream for you than the actual exercising your body because you should.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And just one more thing.
Yeah.
When I write communing with my body, for me, it's like Lori said, like a big ask. And I'm wondering if I would get lost in that and not knowing what to do, or when I am really communing with my body.
Okay. So could it be around something like starting the day with a 5-minute conversation with my body?
Okay, I like that.
Because then what that becomes is where it's like, well, you can do that, right? Like you can, when you set your alarm or set a timer, or know that, put a sticky note on the mirror when you brush your teeth so that oh, right, 5 minutes of, chatting with my body, which will then quite likely create you having more awareness with it throughout the entire day also. But at least, like you say, if just kind of communing with your body is too big, or it just feels like you would just maybe even forget to do it, or it's too far out there, then if you break it down into something that is actually manageable for you, then it starts creating that habit to create it as a reality.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's easier for me. So if I have great ask, then I can put something really easy to do every day.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for asking, honey. Yeah, you can unmute, Debs.
Couple of things. Lately, it's kind of, I feel like really isolated. Like it's almost like I've woken up and there's kind of no friends, and so I'm putting out an ask for, new playmates, or because people have dropped away, and it's kind of, that's okay, kind of naturally, because they're not on the same wavelength or whatever. I get that. But then it's almost like I refer back, and I just, oh, it would be nice to, give them a call or this or that. But then that's heavy as well. But I'm kind of missing them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's really lonely.
So what action are you taking to create the new playmates?
I'm not, because it's like Betty said, it's kind of the energy, there's kind of nothing there. It's all old references, and there's no energy to what do I do.
I'm just wondering if that can be one of your dreams under social life is,
oh yeah, totally.
One new in-person event a week, which could be an art class, it could be a dance class, it could be an access class, it could be like, but so that you're actually choosing towards that target, because ultimately you're aware of what you would like, which is more playmates that are fun to hang out with. Yeah. And so often when we do kind of what you're describing, Debs, and when we start looking back and we go, oh, let's say even with somebody who wants to maybe change eating styles, it's like, oh, but it's easier just to grab the whatever craft dinner or something like that, right? So it's the same with friends. It's like, you're smart enough to follow that it's heavy, so that's awesome. But now it's kind of like, what's the action step, and what can you put in place so that you're working towards it? So that when you go into, oh, I should phone them, you're like, oh, but wait, no, tomorrow night I'm going to go out and going to try that new dance thing or whatever. And then that gives you something to be working towards and choosing towards. Doesn't mean at every event you'll find 10 new playmates, but it starts actually the energy forward for what you're actually asking, so that you become congruent with your ask.
Yeah, okay. And the other thing is with kind of health, it's kind of a question, well, and my body actually, for a little while now, when I'm sleeping, or rather when I suddenly wake up and it is like a sudden, and you've got kind of crazy going on, or the sensation in my body, I mean, you're talking about uncomfortable earlier, it's so uncomfortable. It's kind of like having, I don't know, snakes in my stomach. It's kind of really intense. And as much as I can ask for ease, joy and glory, or what is this and everything, that's an ask for me. And it's kind of, I'm calling it mental health because it's kind of screwing up with everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, what else is possible?
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure what my question is.
And so how did you word that one in terms of an ask or a dream?
Communion with my body, listening and being kind.
Nice.
and I'm also I can't remember the lady's name. I'm doing I can't remember what it's called. It's like a liver 369 detox, which is a 9-day thing, which I'm going to start on the 1st of Feb, because I'm experiencing lots of what I would label like menopause stuff, which is really horrendous night sweats. And so I get that my liver's a bit out of whack.
Cool. So you're taking the action with that. So that's awesome too. Yeah.
And certainly to get, I've never been this inactive, I don't think, in my life. So yeah. And I do, you know, check in what's right about this I'm not getting, but it's, yeah. Okay. And also, so with financial, I've put peace with money.
I love it.
Okay. And also to actualize and learn about new income streams. So that means me somehow, and I don't know what that is necessarily, but it would, yeah, I don't know what's going to show up, obviously.
Yeah. That's the thing with these dreams, is we don't have to know that piece. This part really is just about kind of dreaming big. And so I think those are both, like, both of those asks are brilliant asks. And peace with money is something that so many people, we're often, you know, we're doing the conclusion of, okay, well, if I have $100,000 a month, then I'll have ease with money or something like that. It's like, yeah, if you ask for the peace with money, and then however it's going to show up, it might be the 100,000 a month, it might be a certain amount. And for those of you who wrote down certain amounts, please know that's okay too. That's one of the ways that I inspire myself, is that I have an amount each month that I'm choosing towards. So they're not wrong, but peace with money is also something that is probably a very brilliant ask for every one of us. So thank you, Debs.
So when you make a specific, if I was to make a specific amount, and I have done it before, what I'm doing is when I don't create that, or when I don't actualize that, then I go into kind of the wrongness of me, or the disappointment and all that. And that might even before that happens, I'll kill it by my judgment of how that's going to happen, rather than just interesting point of view.
Yeah. And that's such a huge piece. Thanks for bringing that up, Debs, is for all of you guys to really, 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 truly commit to you that the judgment stops today. And even if it doesn't stop today, when it comes up next time, stop it in the moment you recognize you're choosing it. Because that's what often happens. And that's usually why by the end of January, people have thrown out and kind of settled for a life much like the year before, is because if they haven't met their goal or their target or their dream or whatever, is that then it becomes a great reason and justification to judge them. That's not the point of this process. And really for me, what all of this does is it inspires me to choose more. Because if I don't look at what I'd like, if I just go off of kind of what happens next or whatever might show up or all of that, then my life stays pretty much the same as the year before. Whereas if I'm willing to look, I'm willing to dream, and I'm also willing to mess it up. I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to have that, that problem or that thing, or it be worse than or better than or whatever. That's where the freedom is. But if you're going to hold yourself to these things that you write down as a reason and a justification to judge you, then don't.
Yeah.
So all of the reasons and justifications that you've ever used to judge you, we destroy and uncreate it all, return to center with consciousness.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. And then really, like, whether you guys need to, put sticky notes or timers on your phone or something so that when you have that judgment show up, you stop and you choose something else. And it could be, because the questions, Debs, what's right about this I'm not getting? How does it get any better than this? Go and do something completely different. Go and go for a walk, go, do something totally
Yeah.
different than what you were doing.
Because it's like, honestly, I've been in like this shitstorm, whirlwind tsunami of and I'm so in it, or have been so in it, that like popping your head up on the surface and just about getting through it. Even when all that stuff's been going on at waking up in the morning, I thought, okay, maybe I could just go for a walk, but it's kind of dark, 4 o'clock in the morning. What am I going to do? So yeah, I suppose what I'm trying to say is okay, what's right about this I'm not getting, what's right about me I'm not getting. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. And I experience that as like a tissue with toxic waste is kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and maybe the question now becomes, what can I add to my life?
Yeah.
So, if you're waking up at 4 a.m, and I know, it's probably much like here, it's dark, it's cold, it's icky. Is there a 24-hour gym to join? Is there, what is there that you
Let's
can
hope
add?
not.
Well, I mean, but what's it going to take to change it, right?
Yeah.
It needs to change. So
Absolutely.
sometimes it's kind of a drastic, what we might call a drastic action.
And making that demand. And it's
Yeah.
like I've been too lazy. And then it's like this continual, and what's the value of that? So yeah, I'm aware of all the questions. It's just I'm fed up with, yeah.
And sometimes that's what it takes. We have to be so fed up with the crazy we've been choosing that's when we actually change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Julie, do you want to unmute?
Hello.
Hello, honey. Can you say a little bit more? So you wrote, I'm so uncomfortable. I've chosen so much of this previously, didn't follow through. What would it take to trust me?
Yeah. As I'm working through all these things, I'm having all this emotion come up. It's like, oh, sure. Yeah, you say that. It really is a feeling of mistrust.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it your feeling of mistrust? Like, is it yours?
No.
No. So everywhere you're aware of all the mistrust on the planet, especially I think you're a US citizen, so and not that you have to live in the US to be aware of the mistrust, and not that it's only in the US, but everything that is, we destroy and uncreate it all, return to center with consciousness. Whew. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah. So often when we use something like that kind of that energy that you were describing, but it's not ours, is often a capacity that we have that we're making less than. So we're distracting ourselves with the lie to avoid acknowledging the capacity. So I'm wondering, and this is just a question that probably won't have a verbal response. If it does, cool, but it probably won't, is, what capacities with trusting you do you be that you've never acknowledged? Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate anything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, receive, and be that now, times a godzillion?
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, shorts, boys and beyonds. And it's just a question you might want to be in for anybody else's reads for, is like asking yourself and being present with just once or twice a day, especially if you go into the mistrust, is like, what capacities do I have with trusting me that I haven't acknowledged? Because when we ask that question, what starts to occur is energetically we start to be aware of those. And often with capacities, there's not words to describe them. So it's not like, oh, I know the capacities with trusting me is blah, 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 because it's not. But it's an energy that we be.
Yeah.
We have that capacity and those capacities. So when we're asking it, we start to expand into those capacities. And we start being them. And then what starts being louder in our world is in this case, the trust of you. rather than right now the mistrust of you is loud because you've been so aware of it on the planet, probably trying to heal it and fix it and do all sorts of, you know, energetic things with it. Where when you start being the trust that you truly be of you, then that is actually what changes it on the planet, because you be it, which is an invitation to those of us who also be it, and everybody being it is what actually changes the planet. So everywhere you haven't been willing to be all of the capacities that you be in every area, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, online, putt, box, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
I kind of feel like I want to cry and throw up and
Yes, yeah,
oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, the other piece with that too is that that's often the energy that we go into as, well, I've done this before, I've tried it before, like all of that stuff. And it's often a way just to distract ourselves. Because what happens is as we even become present with what we would like to create, that's already making us a million times different than most of the people we hang out with. Most of our family and friends are not willing to look at that. They're willing to complain, they're willing to blame, they're willing to be a victim, but they're not willing to look at them being the creator of their life and what it would take for them to create what they'd like. So what happens then is that as we start to move towards creating what we would like, is that then we recognize, or we energetically become aware of how much different we will be even more than we have been. So then we start distracting ourselves to stop us from being that different. Because we're cute like that, Julie.
Adorable.
Adorable, yes. So all of the distraction that you've been using to stop you from creating what you know is possible, we destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, putt, box, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. So how does that feel now?
Yeah, that's different. Thank you.
Yay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. Yes, go ahead, Miss Sharon.
Hi. I've been listening to something else that you had said a while back, or just recently actually, and a while back, about you'll never create something. You're asked if you're creating it from the wrong energy. So if you have the wrong energy of the reason or justification or whatever, if the wrong energy is behind it, you'll never create it, or if it doesn't belong to you, that kind of thing. So I got that this is about the weight, which is absolutely, seems to be my number one nemesis here or something, and I don't want it to be, and well, anyway, it's just an ongoing thing. So I got that a lot of the reasons are, you know, I want to lose the weight, and part of it is because it doesn't belong to me anyway. All this excess weight isn't even mine, which drives me crazy. But also I got that I wanted to lose the weight to prove. I wanted to lose the weight to prove that Access works, that it doesn't, that it really isn't about the food that you eat or the movement that you do, that it's more about your judgments about the movement that you do or the food that you eat or the drink or the amounts or the times or all that crap that people just impelled on us from day one, from the beginning of time. And so I've let go of a lot of the proving stuff, and I'm coming from so I'm trying to get clear on how to write this down. I mean, yes, I really desire to move with ease. I would like to have ease with my body. I would like to be able to hike in the mountains like I used to, and be out in nature and walk and just have fun with my body. And so, I mean, I'm writing these things down, but it's just, and I know there's a lot of judgments there, and I've been really having a lot more ease and doing a lot of clearing on the judgments. And when I start that, I look to see whether it belongs to me or not, and I let it go, and blah, 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 blah. Over the past couple of months, 2 months or so, I've gained like 12 pounds. And part of it, I get that I've actually put on the weight. Part of it is I know that it's my judgments about what I have been eating, and it's my judgments, and I think that part of this is about my body's trying to tell me that I really got to get clear, and I really got to let go of all these judgments about what I eat and how I move and blah, 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 and all these conclusions. And because it could be really easy. I mean, it could be real easy. I just don't even know where to. God, I'm so freaking frustrated, and I just feel like I'm missing some information here. I'm just not getting it. And yes, I asked the questions, what's right about this, blah, 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 blah. But I'm just crazy.
Well, and what if the target isn't about the weight? What if it's about all the things you listed, hiking and moving and enjoying your body and having fun? Like, what if that's the target? What if that's what's exciting for you?
Yes, and all of that is, and there's so much more. It's about ease with having fun with clothes and wearing dresses again. I haven't worn a dress for, anyway. Yes, exactly, and it's also and maybe that's part of the thing that I know that I've taken weight out of other people to try to heal them and blah 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 blah, and so I know that's part of why I have this. What part of this weight is about. And I guess it just makes me really angry that this weight doesn't even belong to me. And it just won't go away. And I just can't, but everything, every question I ask about, is the weight willing to go? Yes. Is my body willing to let it go? Yes. So it just comes down to being judgments. And God, if I can create my own reality, then why can't I fucking create my own reality? You know, I mean, it's like, why can't this be easy?
It's the significance that you've placed on it, Sharon.
Oh, yes, I know.
It's, you know, you get a lot of value out of making it significant.
I've been trying to go through the value questions too, so yeah.
You know, so I just wonder if you're looking more from the target of moving your body and all of those things. I mean, that alone. And then if the weight changes or not, it doesn't matter. Same as with dresses. If your body would like to wear a dress, then wear a dress. It's like, get the significance off the number on the scale. Because that's, you know, that you've put it there and you're saying, I can't do this until, which is then you're at a stalemate. You won't change it. Instead of being, you know what, I'm going to fucking live no matter what. And if body would like to go hike, then yeah, you're maybe not going to go do a 10-mile hike today, but maybe you'll do a half a mile hike today and work up to the 10-mile. And it doesn't matter what size your body is or what weight your body is. None of that matters. If you look at what you truly desire, which is the fun, the ease, the fun with clothes, all of that stuff. If you don't put a I can't because or I can't until, then all of those are become dreams come true right away. It's that you've added the but I can't until. And that's the frustrating piece for you.
Yeah, for the dress, yes, that is definitely I can't until, along with the relationships and other things that I've attached to this. So yes, I do get that. And that's what I've been looking for the last week, a couple of weeks here, is about the energy behind my ask and where that's coming from. So, and yes, I've been looking at these things, and that's why I wrote them down. Yes, I would like to just have more ease with my body and to walk and to do these things. And I get out there, and I guess I'm just sticking myself here. And
you
yes,
just added a conclusion instead of, hey, you know what, this is what I'd like to do. So if I'd like to be hiking, then what do I need to be doing today to get to that hike? And it might only be, 25 steps, who knows? But it's doing it in a way that works for you to work up to that. Because, we can say it's points of views about hiking 10 miles. And also there's a level of kindness with your body. If you haven't hiked even a mile in, a year, then doing 10 miles is not going to create more for it. So it's like, what actions required in terms of what you really desire? Because changing the weight from the energy of then I can truly live, or then I can have all these things, you won't change it.
Yeah. I mean, just going out to shovel the other day, putting on the 12 pounds that I put on has made just a huge difference in everything that I do. I mean, it's like I'm exhausted and I can't do this, and it's just so fucking limiting that it's just, that it is the weight that's limiting it. I mean, and I've asked okay. Sorry.
Cool. All right, Miss Carrie, you can go ahead.
Hi. Can you repeat that thing you said about like when things coming up to something about when you're gonna like choose differently?
Oh, so yeah, whenever you make, even writing these things down, let's say your social life, one of your things was to do something social, once a week, then all of your reasons and justifications for not choosing that over the past week or month or years would come up. And then that's usually when you say, oh, see, I can't because. Gotcha. Instead of going, oh, good, now they're gone. Bye-bye.
Cool. So, and then this is a kind of a 3-part thing that's all ties together, but if it's not ours, what is it? Like, so what is ours? If most things aren't ours, like Access will say, like almost, if not all, is not ours, what is ours then?
True, like infinite joy, infinite space, infinite possibilities, infinite wealth, infinite kindness, all of that. And the thing is that, we can say, who does it belong to, return to sender. But what's even more important is to recognize that you always have another choice. So yeah, okay, it's not yours. Cool. Now what would you like to choose? Otherwise we get really locked up in, well, it's not mine and I shouldn't have it. And it's so blah, 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 instead of like, just, no.
Can you repeat
now
that?
What can I choose?
Mine. Now what would I like to choose?
Yep.
Thank you. And what were hold on, sorry, you said you're fast. Joy, space, kindness.
I mean, anything that is really yummy, basically.
Okay, thank you. Now what would you like to choose? And then the third part of that, so there's this place I would like to go in March. And then I became aware that like I actually prefer to travel with people, and a possibility of possibly a part of it, yes. And though then I was aware, well, I really like to travel with my husband, and it's a safety thing, right? Like a safety blanket. But I was like, well, it's this fear, not mine. Anyway, it's going around. And the decision if I can choose it or not choose it, can I actualize everything required for it, is still up in the air. And that 10 seconds is like kind of like, okay, cool. But the thing about safety, like, you know how fear is excitement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but there's been a different energy lately that I've been, and some of it does feel like mine. Like some I'm very aware it's not mine, it's just the world. But there's been like not fear in that way, but like safety stuff has been really aware of.
So could an infinite being ever be unsafe?
No. Duh.
Only if they shut their awareness off, which an infinite being wouldn't do. But if you're pretending to be finite, you sure can. So it's really about being willing to be aware.
Willing to be aware.
And it goes back to kind of the conversation about being willing to be uncomfortable. So that, you know that one, you're choosing it. So you also want to look at what you were the way you were wording it. I'm not sure you've totally chose March. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, it's up in the air. But if you're truly choosing it, and I don't mean you have to put it on the credit card, I don't mean any of that, but if you're truly choosing it, it's not up in the air. You're choosing it. No matter what, you're choosing it. Now, if it comes to the moment where you'd have to say book on the credit card or not, then those are questions. You might change it. You might find another time to do it or whatever if the money isn't there, all that. But from the place of it's up in the air, it's kind of the energy of a victim, right? It's
right.
Like it's up in the air. I don't know yet. We'll see. It's like, no, if you're choosing it, I'm choosing to do this in March. I'd also become aware of how fun it would be if my husband was with me. So I'm actually asking about that also. And if that's not possible, I'm fucking choosing it by myself and I'm willing to be uncomfortable with it.
So can I ask you another question around that? Please, thank you for bringing that up. So, okay, when do you like do the booking and stuff? And the up in the air, and I like is I have another business, and I'm sort of, I won't lie, waiting to see, because I don't want to choose, or so far it was not light to choose past 6 to put it on a credit card. although then I'm torn because then in 2 months after that, I would have everything and more paid off. So I was like, okay, just every 10 seconds, ask a question when it pops. What would create more? What would create more?
Yeah. So
And what is
choose this right now. Will it create the future I desire? Decay the future I desire?
So just go back to that. And so, but about the choosing, when do you actually do the booking if the actual details are not ironed out, I guess? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me personally, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm not, I mean, I don't, not from not awareness, and just because all the games I used to play with credit cards all those years ago, I am not willing to put stuff that doesn't, you know, if it, I don't know how to, well, I'll just say it. So I will not use a credit card if I don't have the cash to pay it. So, you know, if it came to, you know, I'm booked in for the SOP class in March. If I didn't have the money to buy the airline ticket today, I don't buy it until I do. So if that means I don't get to that SOP, I don't get to that SOP. I can also choose it online. You know, there's other choices I can make along with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally. That doesn't mean you have to adopt that or any of you guys have to. It's just, I had played the game for so many years with credit cards that it just doesn't work for me. But it also puts me in the place of demand for that. So it would not be money stopping me from going to the SOP in March, you know, if it was changed or what, like I would create the money because of that demand that I've created in my world. So yeah, I don't book until I have it though.
And so I'm shifting more towards that, right? Because I've played games and so I'm getting clearer and making different choices. And so that has popped in my head that I don't want to keep choosing this credit card, you know? Yeah. And then at this point, and I know, so make the demand of me, I would not have the money. Cool. And then I make the demand of me and just go into what action steps are required to create.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then that feeling like that's where the clunk comes in. Cause I'm like, what's the word? I want to just say, like, I don't know if I can do it, but would an infinite being not know? You know, like I get that, but I don't know if I can do that amount before then.
Cool. Then just do what you can and then look towards the next class. If it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't work for you to put on the credit card.
Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, like it's that class and so many things, like, right, like thank you so much.
Yeah. And guys, really, it is about always being in the question. It's not, if something did show up for me and I didn't have the cash and it was super light to choose it, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I would just have to be so freaking clear that it was actually light from true lightness and not from, let's just do this whole credit card thing again. Because I did that for so many years and it wasn't until 2014 that I shifted it. And it just, like, once I got the energy of the willingness to be that demand and say, no matter what, this is what I'm choosing, and choosing it first. And the money is so, like, not even in the equation. And of course, it's always a piece of it in terms of if you're going to a class or buying something or something that costs money, but it's not how I choose anymore. So I choose, if it's light to choose it, I choose it. I take the action towards it. And then if something were to show up that I didn't have the money, there would be a lot of question as to what then and what else is possible. So if I don't have the money for it, like I say, for the SOP, that one I couldn't do online. So if I didn't have the money for the airline, okay, cool. What else is possible? Do it online, do it at home, and what else is possible? So
can you speak more to the light? You just referenced it about the.
Yeah, well, we can, I mean, we can have a lightness from the place of our points of views of, I need it, I have to do it, it's the best thing, it's the answer. Or we can have a lightness from what is actually going to create more. So I just played with the, you know, the lie of, oh, it's light, but really it was like, oh no, I've decided it's light, so now it's light.
And so just do some clearings if you're wondering. Sorry.
Pardon me?
And just do some clearings if you're wondering if your points of view are influencing.
Well, and you can just ask. So truth, is it light from a point of view? Truth, is it light from being truly light?
Oh, thank you. Way to overcomplicate, eh? Thank you.
Let it be ease. I see a couple of questions, guys. I'll come to those, but I want you guys to move on to the next ones in step one. So for each of the ones that you wrote down, I want you to look at truth, is this mine? So you're asking each of your dreams, truth, is this my dream? Truth, is this my target, my ask, whatever you want to call it. Because we won't create what isn't ours. And just as we can pick up other people's, you know, crazy and weirdness and points of views, we can also pick up people's dreams. So you want to make sure that it's yours. If it isn't, then see if there's a way to change it to make it yours. And I put the questions in the chat so that, you know, let's say you had one of your asks was to travel to Hawaii in January. Maybe you're a Canadian or travel to Hawaii in January, and you get that that's not yours. So you might want to ask, so truth, is it to travel in January? Truth, is it to travel? Truth, is it to travel somewhere else? Like you might just need to change it up. Maybe Hawaii isn't your thing, but you know, you're so aware of how many people on the planet that have decided Hawaii is, you know, the best place to be in January or something like that. And then maybe none of it's yours. So then just take it off. Just let it go. And that was a big one. I mean, as Sharon was talking about weight, I mean, it took me so many years to figure out that I don't actually care about the number on the scale. I have had it in my list since, well, probably since 2002 to have that number on the scale be way, way, way less. And what's true is that I don't actually give a flying fuck. What does inspire me, and if you guys have been listening to my radio show lately, you would hear me talk about this, is that when we were in Bali and I had the possibility to jump into kind of off a cliff into water and then walk or climb up the side and then like physically water slide down a waterfall. And I did, body said no. And I just knew that I just didn't have the strength to do it. That's what inspires me. That's what got me, you know, listening to my body more, about going to a personal trainer and following through with all the stuff that she's laid out for me. That's what inspires me. That's what gets me out of bed. So if I put a target on for health, for weight, it wouldn't matter, because it doesn't matter to me. It's not relevant to me at all. I've made it, you know, I've pretended it was relevant. I've bought a lot of points of views of other people's about my weight or about weight in general, or, you know, just society in general, but it doesn't matter to me what the number is. What matters is that I can physically do what I would like to do when I would like to do it. And how cool is it that I created, you know, a situation where I got really clear on that. So I'm excited about that. So is this mine? If it's not, take it off or adjust it to when it is. Truth, is this the conclusion? So you also want to be aware of that, much like we were talking about with Carrie's, you know, going on keto, which is a diet type of thing, for a week. Really, she concluded that if she did that, then she would feel better. Then she would have ease with her body. So if you get that it's a conclusion, please change it to what you're truly asking for. So it might be a money thing too. You might have a certain amount of money or just money in general. And then if it reads as a conclusion, then okay, what is it you'd buy with that money? What is it you'd have? That's what you want to then have as your ask, because we won't create conclusions either. And then this one to me is really important. Truth, would I hop out of bed to take action to actualize it? Because if you wouldn't, don't have it on your list. Because those are the ones that often are from the should energy. So if it's got past, it's, you know, that it's yours and it's not a conclusion, but you wouldn't hop out of bed to take action, then it's maybe not yours. Or maybe like it's not enough of a goal. So you might need to expand it. You might need to make it bigger. You know, so if you were, say yours was to create $5,000 in a month, and May was like, I don't think I'd really get out of bed for that. Maybe try 7,000 or 9,000 or 10,000 or something. And then the last one after you've went through all of those questions is then truth, am I willing to receive it? And if it's a no, you just want to look at that. You just want to, you know, destroy and uncreate that, be present with it. Look, is that even, you know, your unwillingness to receive it even yours? It's just a place of honesty with you. You can change it. If you get a no, it doesn't mean you have to scratch it off at all. You can change that unwillingness You just want to be honest with yourself if it's there in the first place. So any questions about that, guys? So Sharon says, yes, I would like to do what I'd like to do when I'd like to do it. And that's with my body and my finances. Absolutely, Sharon. Yeah, Betty, go ahead with your question.
Thank you. I only get to write down almost in all of them one thing.
That's okay. It's okay. That's why I have the office hours on Wednesday, so that these next few days you guys can be working on all of this. I know you guys won't get, well, I shouldn't say I know, but we're going to finish here shortly. So, you know, you've got a few days to kind of play with it and add to it. So it's okay. If you only have one thing and you don't have any more, that's fine too. Even if you don't by, you know, the next time we get together, that's totally fine too.
Okay, and I feel like a little resistance to do this.
Okay, can you just speak up for me a little bit?
I feel like a little resistance doing this.
Okay,
Like
so what is the resistance?
I'm not.
Sorry, I might have talked over you. What is the resistance?
It's like internal fight.
Okay.
Like I want to do it, and at the same time, I don't want to do it.
Okay. So what is the I don't want to do it? Is it yours?
No.
Okay. So if you did do it, what would happen?
Part of that, it is mine, and a big part is not mine.
Okay. So if you did do it, what would happen?
Everybody will hate me more than they do now.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because how much more are you going to create? How much more are you going to be? How much more are you going to do? How much more are you going to poke people in the eye just by being you? So everywhere you haven't been willing to continuously poke people in the eye or acknowledge how much you already do just by being you, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And everywhere that it's been more valuable to you to make other people more comfortable than to you to create your dreams come true, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, online, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Yeah. And the cool thing too is, I mean, you don't have to tell the world. Yeah, there's going to be things that they just, you know, maybe your neighbors or friends or family or Facebook or whatever. I mean, they'll start noticing or seeing things maybe, but you still don't have to share it. So you can be creating your dreams come true without very many people knowing it. But chances are, as you create more of them come true, you will be inspired to share.
Okay. And what about if one of my dreams is like, I'm gonna put it in your language. It's like becoming a rock star.
Yes.
Everybody will know.
Yes, they will. And that's what I mean is that, I mean, there's like, you will become more and more at ease with receiving that, the more you're choosing towards it and clearing the points of views. And quite likely, Betty, for a lot of it is like, who am I being here?
Okay.
Return to center with consciousness, right, wrong, good, bad, online, POD POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. And Lori, I think you had a question?
Oh, yes, Glennice. I feel like in some of my categories, I have more action things written. I've been listening to a lot of your stuff and understanding how my questions only go so far. I've really got to take action. So I wonder if I'm kind of going ahead of the process. Maybe they are more conclusion if I'm already going to action.
Can you give me an example, Lori?
Yeah. So financially, I'm in an interesting and fortunate situation because I have a planner I've been working with, and I'm kind of at the point where she sees my reality as selling my house and downsizing and investing to make some of my dreams come true, where I've had this awareness that I'd like to be in the position to make enough money per month to keep my home as an asset and kind of look at things in a whole different way, rather than following what in the past has been very, very comfortable to follow her timing and her philosophy. So I have things like meet with a new planner, financial planner that I have been aware of, and really become more savvy, understanding my entire situation so I can decide, and upping my income games so that, again, I can increase the time in my home to decide, rather than being kind of along the plan with my current planner. So I'm going into a lot of tactical things on what I need to do. And this feels like one of my really big asks, because I've kind of been working the plan that she and I have kind of set out. And now I'm thinking like, whoa, maybe this is her plan and not exactly my plan. And what do I need to do differently here? And what do I need to be asking, and action do I need to take to shift all this up?
Yeah. I would keep those ones also, Lori, but I also would look at what I'm going to call maybe more of along with those, a general. Because I talked on one of my radio shows recently, because of the personal trainer had me set the SMART goals, which is specific and measurable and other things. I can't remember the acronym right now, which I think are brilliant, which is kind of what you've got there with, especially with that planner, right? Like meet with a new one. Those, yes, have those, but also what is it that you'd like? And it sounds like you would like to become educated in making choices for yourself financially, like confident choices or whatever you might want to call it. So keep those ones, but I would also maybe add like a bigger, what's the bigger ask there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then, that it seems that filters into so many of my other areas. So that's where one of the reasons why I joined this course that you're offering is because I'm always kind of swimming back and forth. If I downsize, I could move and I could leave this location. And what would that mean? And then if I move, then do I keep increasing my access bars clients in this location? And, so it seems to kind of filter, and that's where I get a little bit stuck, because I feel good creating and vibrant, creating more clients, but then does that hinder me in looking to move my entire location of where I'm living? Does that make sense?
It does. And I wonder again, if you can really look at what you'd like, because then it would probably stop all of that. So ultimately, let's say that you were creating, trying to think of how to word it, something like creating everything required to continue living in your home with ease. So then you don't have to be going into, but then what about this? Or if I did this, if I downsize, then I could do that. Like if that's truly a desire for you to stay in the home and continue creating everything else, then ask for that.
Interestingly, that's heavy.
Cool. Now that's great information.
Yeah.
That's great information. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just, again, kind of just some more time with it and looking at and paying attention to the light and the heavy, so that when you get there, it's like, oh, wow, that's it, or that's not it, or, ooh, half of this and some of this.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Julie, thank you. She says, the SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And I know for me, especially with the personal trainer, that has really contributed to me, because it would be, I can't remember who, it was near the beginning of the call, kind of talking, I think it was Betty actually talking about it. She would lose it. So, if I went in with my target of being that I could run 10 kilometers, I'm not like, that's not going to get me out of bed in the morning, because probably not even running one is a good choice in this 10 seconds. So my SMART targets for working with the trainer were very specific in terms of, this is how many times, I move my body. This is, the plan that I have. And I'm also willing to take action with following the energy. So of course, if I have something, come up and it doesn't feel light to go, and I mean a true light to go or something, then I will follow that. And I also know that I have lived more in the denial of, well, I don't have to do anything, and I just do, I just, can force my body to do whatever or whatever. So, for me, it's been really great having those SMART targets with regards to the trainer and what I'm changing, so that they are kind of bite size, and then that there's so much more confidence at the end of the week than going in and going, wow, I'm 3 weeks in and I still can't run 10K. I guess I failed. Like, no, I'm way stronger than I was 3 weeks ago, and just grateful for that. So you want to have that, and also the bigger ask too, if there is in those areas, for sure. So Deb's asked me a little while ago to talk about comparison. Comparison in which way do you mean, Debs? There's probably something we were talking about at the time. Sorry.
It was, I'm aware, what I'm meaning, I'm aware that it is still a judgment. It's kind of, at the moment, I'm really aware of where I've been at, just comparing myself with everybody, and it's kind of, I've got the sort of shit stick end, and I'm aware that it's a judgment, and you could just say, stop it. And is there anything else that you could say? Is there a clearing or something? Because there just seems to be something else attached to it, like it's something else as well. Or am I on the wrong track here?
I mean, a couple of things I would look at, if the comparing is even yours.
No, but I've really bought it as mine. So it's kind of, I'm saying no, then it's yes, then it's no, then it's yes.
Well, and comparing is a great distraction.
Yeah.
Comparing ensures that you don't take action, because why would you? Everybody else has it better. So if you acknowledge it's not yours, and then acknowledge when it comes up that you're just distracting yourself with it, and then be like, okay, what can I add to my life right now to change this?
Okay. So it wouldn't be necessarily a distractor implant, or it would be, or?
No, it's just, you're just using it as a way to distract yourself from choosing what you'd like to choose.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then Julie had said, does I don't know equal a victim? Yes. We are infinite beings with infinite knowing. So when we play the I don't know card, we're lying to ourselves, because usually we really believe it when we say it. So you want to destroy and uncreate it. But the other thing that happens when we say I don't know is that we invite all of the demons in, and energies that aren't going to co-create with us for what we'd like to create, because what we're doing is we're lying, we're pretending we're not infinite, and they're looking for victims, so they come on in. So all of the demons that you've ever invited in by pretending you don't know, will you return all of them to from whence they came? Go back to from whence you came, never to return for all eternity. Go back to from whence you came, never to return for all eternity. Go back to from whence you came, never to return for all eternity. Go back to from whence you came, never to return for all eternity. And anything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, online, putt box, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And so just recognize when you say, I don't know, that you can just go, wait, yes, I do. And it can just be that you're not aware in that moment of, whatever it is, but it's not that you don't know, you always know. Yeah. Okay, guys. So what I would like you to do this week before part 2 is to finish up the asks, and we've got our Facebook group, so please, any questions you've got, just tag me in there. I am more than happy to assist. Plus on Wednesday, we have our office hours, so we'll get together for half an hour on Wednesday. You can pop in with any questions or anything you've got going on with regards to this that you'd like assistance with. So go through and go, have your actions, your dreams, your asks, whatever. Make sure you go through those questions. Is it mine? Is it conclusion? Will it hop out of bed for it? Am I willing to receive it? And then the other thing is that I would like you to do this week is to then go through and pick one of your targets in each area and do my little thing of clearing the crazy. So I can't because. So put that in there. So I can't create, let's say one of your asks is, $10,000 a month because. Then go and list at least 10 becauses. And then go through and clear them. Now, if you have another way to clear crazy, use that. It doesn't matter how you do it. I've, of course, added some suggestions from Access, which would be just running the clearing statement. So I can't create $10,000 a month because I'm stupid. Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, online, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I can't create $10,000 a month because money is really hard for me. Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, online, puck, shorts, boys, beyond. So you'd go through each one doing that, or you can use the interesting point of view tool. So I can't create $10,000 a month because I'm stupid. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view until the energy shifts. So that is your home play for this week. Clearing the crazy around, and again, you just need to pick one of each of your areas, one ask from each of your areas. So yes, Betty, absolutely, thank you. So she says, can you do a clearing around oaths and vows with creating your dreams come true? So for any of you that have any oaths, vows, commitments, contracts, promises, obligations, communities, fealties, anything that I haven't mentioned, to not creating your dreams come true from any level, layer, lifetime, universe, reality, and anywhere I haven't mentioned, will you revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, denounce, reclaim, destroy, and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, online, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And any demons or energies that you've hired to ensure that you hold those oaths and vows in place, will you return all of them to from whence they came? Go back to from whence you came, never to return to us or this reality ever again. Go back to from whence you came, never to return to us or this reality ever again. Go back to from whence you came, never to return to us or this reality ever again. Go back to from whence you came, never to return to us or this reality ever again. And anything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, online, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Awesome. Okay. And again, if you've got any questions come up while you guys are doing this, just post in the group, tag me in it. I'm happy to assist. And then we've got our office hours. Yes, well, Lori, it's in your account. Are you able to access your account? What's on the screen is in there. Okay. So what do you need from me to access it then? What is the problem that comes up for you? Nothing's in there. Okay, so do you have, is it possible that you have 2 emails with me? That usually becomes a problem if there's 2 emails in my system and then it totally zaps out everything. So
yeah,
you can,
maybe Glenise, I'll look into that because
okay.
I can open up my account, but there's nothing in there. I'll look into that.
Yeah, and just email me, Lori, and we can get it sorted right away because it's often just if there's 2 emails.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I wonder what magic is possible with playing with all of this that you've never considered. And just remember, If it's heavy, it's not true. So if you're playing with this and it's not feeling yummy or expansive, walk away, go do something else. This isn't about pushing or forcing. It's about being, you know, aggressively present and really looking at, you know, it's one of the questions that I asked the people in the other, another program that I'm running. I said, you know, if you're, pretend it's 2019 and it's January 2019, look back at 2018 or 2019. Pretend it's January 2020. Oh my gosh, I'm fried, I guess. And look back at 2019. What were you so excited about? What are you just so grateful that you actualized, that you created, that you did? And those, you know, whatever gets you excited about that, write those things down. Write those things down. And then, yeah, you know, do all the is it mine, all of that with them also. But that often will give you the energy of it. And then if it's not fun, take a break, go do something else, come back. Awesome. You guys are so welcome. Thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to chatting with you on Wednesday if you're able to make it. If not, that's just post in the group and with any questions or anything, and we will get them covered too. All right. Have a great one, guys. Bye.